Hi there, welcome to Country Club Villages, a family-owned business that focuses on providing mature Australians with a variety of living options in vibrant and affordable community villages. We believe that your retirement years should be the best of your life, a time when you can appreciate doing more of the things you enjoy and say goodbye to your hard work and worries. A good retirement village not only provides great amenities, but also a wonderful community environment where residents can strengthen their social bonds, support networks, and peace of mind through engagement with others at a similar stage in life. I'm lucky that I get to meet many village residents and hear about their positive experiences in making a country club village their new home. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to share that with you, as residents from several of our villages talk about their experiences. So that's enough from me. I'm sure you're curious to hear what some of our residents have to say.
We had to start thinking about ourselves, and we'd been retired for a few years, and Les, we need to look at the future. Really, that's what it was all about, wasn't it?
Yes.
We need to.
Well, we're both in our 70s now, and we have to look after us. And we're certainly well looked after here, because in our street we've made wonderful friends, not just in our street, but throughout the village. Everybody is most friendly, willing to help, and it's good.
And everybody is so good in joining together, and everybody looks after everybody else.
I suppose we didn't expect everyone would be as friendly as quick as they were. We thought, being new kids on the block, it might take a little while for people to find out what we were like and to accept us. But basically from day one, or even before that, when we were going to the dinners, we just felt part of the village before we'd even moved in. So that surprised me that we were accepted so easily.
And I think it's great that single people can fit into a village. Then there's no need to be, feel you're going to be ostracised because you're single or anything like that.
And the day we moved in, we had neighbours come up with a tray with a thermos of hot water and cups and coffee and tea and biscuits and everything for us and the guys moving us in, which was very thoughtful. It's just little things like that. And you always got someone popping in, or you go outside, there's always someone walking around you can have a chat to. So there's no reason for anyone to be lonely in these sort of villages. There's always someone that you can either ring up and talk to or go and visit, or someone walking around. The veggie garden's a good meeting place too, in the caravan area.
Yeah, there's a lot of street chat.
But I suppose that the biggest thing for us was the security, because we want to be travelling so much. And we were hoping to find people who have caravans too, and we were hoping eventually there might be a little group of us that could go away together, and that's happened, with this whole group of us. So
I think there's the friendliness and the good time we have Friday nights, and the odd dinner that we have. Over in the different functions that are held, that they organised. We don't go to all of them, but to a fair amount of them. And it blends in well with our lifestyle.
Plus just the quietness of the whole place and the security.
Within the village itself, you meet and greet people. And, it might only be fleeting and, 5-minute talk along the roadway if you're going to the vegetable garden, or giving people excess vegetables that you've grown, and you become part of that community. You become part of that community. Of course, it's up to you, but yes, you belong. You belong.
I thought I was too young. At that time, I was only not quite 61 then, and I thought, a bit young to be going into a retirement place, because I was thinking everyone in retirement villages are sort of late 70s, 80s, etc. But then when we met a few of the people, because we came to a few of their monthly dinners too, so we met people before we actually moved in. And you forget about ages. You know, everyone was just so friendly, so nice, welcoming.
Some other skills that I had, like embroidery and quilting and other crafts, I've been able to pick that up again because there's some very clever people here who can, you know, help and advise you, which is really good. There's always somebody now for me if I want to go to a show in Melbourne, you know, which we used to often do. There's always somebody here that's probably interested in coming with you. So, you know, there's a plus there. But, I mean, you're free to do whatever you want to do. If you want to be totally involved here, well, you can be. But if you want to continue your life outside, there's no problem with that.
I think the other thing is that you can join in as much as you want to, or as little as you want to. And that suits us because we've got so many outside activities, because we've lived here for 35 years in this city, and which has been wonderful to us and our family. So we are quite happy to be involved to a certain extent in the community. I think what you put in, you get out of it. We have our turn at behind the bar, and Gordon's on one of the committees, and that's as far as we're going at this stage because of our outside commitments. So, you know, it suits us down to the ground. It's lovely.
When I first went there, David said, well, we'd like you to join in most things that go on in the village, but you're not beholden to. You can and you can't, sort of thing, and that suits me fine.
We have a swimming pool, which we've never had before. We have a gym, which we've never had before. We've got a beautiful community centre, and it just seemed right for us. And less garden, because I had a very large garden, and it was becoming a chore doing the garden, and Annette with the housework too made quite a big difference, isn't it?
I'm a bowler, an avid bowler, so there's somewhere for me to practice. I like to swim, I like the gym.
It's very nice to know that should we want a larger celebration, say, with 20, 30 people, we can use the community centre as long as we abide by the rules, etc., etc. And it's just so nice to know that we can use that as an extension of our home. And, people are quite amazed by the community centre.
And I love the kitchen, of course. I've used the kitchen, having gone from 2 ovens to 1 here, but I can shoot over there because we're right at the back door and use one of their 2 industrial ovens, and which we have I've used for cooking whole fish, and I'm about to cook a plum pudding over there, a Christmas plum pudding, and we've used the kitchen quite a number of occasions.
Yeah.
So that's good, and we have our turn in the bar, and that's been fun. That's a monthly turnabout. We're about to go into that again. So, you know, it's been, and the theaterette, and the library, I love, of course. Utilised that many times, and because we're both great readers.
I love the pool.
We're not into the bowls yet, but we're contemplating that. When we're a wee bit older and we've got some more time, we're going to go bowling.
Go bowling.
They keep asking us to go and play bowls, but we haven't quite got around to that yet.
I realised I wasn't getting any younger, and if I purchased a house, there would be problems with upkeep and things like that, and though it keeps you busy, it's not how I wanted to spend my other years, sort of thing.
When we moved in, we were only in for 10 days and we took off for 3 months. But it was great knowing that our garden was going to be looked after, and the managers were going to be checking on the unit periodically, and coming back and not have to sort of worry about anything, and not having to ask family or friends to be going up a few days every week to check on the house or anything. So the peace of mind was great.
If anything should happen to either one of us, this house is then quite able to be looked after by one person, either Annette or myself. And plus there's the safety aspect. We've got our call button. A lot of our friends have a laugh about that, but it's there, and you just never know when you might need it. So it's very good.
That's all part of the deal, of course. With great mirth, we tend to put the call button around our necks. Sometimes we have people for dinner, just in case we have an emergency.
I didn't want to be fussed over, but I wanted some backup there, seeing as I was by myself, and with the safety alerts things that you have in the unit, and you've got the managers there to contact.
Bill needed to be peaceful, be at peace as to know how he was going to leave me. So it was really good because Bill could see who I was going to be with, what exactly the facilities were like, anything that needed to be adjusted in the villa, well, he made sure that was attended to. And then he just gradually deteriorated and passed away in March. So, and it's really been so beneficial because I could just shut the door and there was no worries. I have a daughter-in-law and a son who live in Canberra, and a daughter and son-in-law who live in Melbourne. So that means I can just go up and down to them as I need, and I've got no worries about whether anybody's going to break into the house or whatever, and I come back and it's just like it was when I left it.
There's always someone there who knows where you are, and old Jim didn't, go down and get the paper, or he didn't go for a swim in the village pool or something like that. And people do, it could be considered nosy, but at least there's someone there that if anything happened, you would be missed, put it that way. Yes, I suppose that is a good word. You were missed if you're not seen around, yeah.
We were really impressed, and Bill was so impressed he cried. He just thought it's the perfect place for me to be when it was time for him to go, which was dawning closely.
A couple of days ago I had a friend there, and he was out on the veranda having a smoke, and he suddenly heard a crash from the villa next door, the unit next door, and I know that woman is, a bit older than me, and so I rang her and I couldn't contact her, and I was wondering, has she fallen over and done something wrong? So I contacted the manager, or the manager's wife in this case, and she came straight over and she checked, and the woman was in there and she was quite all right. And subsequently I've met her in the village street, and she said, I feel much safer now because I know people will be, looking for those sort of things.
And we feel we did the right thing at the right time. We were able to move when we could move, and do a lot of the moving ourselves, and it was the right time to do it.
And to the point that my sister's now moving here from New South Wales. So that's good. She really likes the community. She's been downstairs several times and has decided to sell up and come down too.
We would recommend anyone our age, me 55 onwards, to do it. It's a great lifestyle, and you can make so many friends. Our son-in-law, he's 50, and when he came and had a look at the place, he was really impressed, and he said, in 5 years' time I could move in here, couldn't I? Said,
No, you don't.
No, we love Richard, but yeah, he was so impressed that he thought, geez, I wouldn't mind living in a place like this either. And that's someone now who's 50, who's impressed with it.
They were all down for Christmas, so they came out here, and this was already built, except for finishing bits and pieces. So they came and looked and They were very impressed with the place. Couldn't have been happier because they knew that I would be safe. His daughter says, you know, at night you drive in through the gates and closes behind you and nobody can bother you. Yes, yeah. And you're not, you know, they're owned, so there's no rentals beside you. They were really impressed. Yes. Actually, the son-in-law said, is there any clause where we can just shift in here when you go?
So when we'd moved in, we invited our friends up, and as soon as they walked into the unit, they, oh, gee, aren't they modern? Oh, it's like a house. Well, I mean, ours is just on 19 squares, and it is the size of a small house.
It's probably lived above my expectations a bit. People are very interesting, I've always found that, and everybody here comes from different walk of life, and really haven't struck anybody that I couldn't get on with. The social aspect is very good. All the facilities are good. I really, I couldn't complain. It's just more than what I ever expected, I guess.
Our friends now have changed their minds since they've seen the village, and they've actually brought a few of them up here. We said, come up to Ballarat with us and have a look at Hemsley Park, because this is how ours will be looking in the future.
Very impressive.
They're very, very impressed, so we've got a lot of our friends thinking about moving into village too.
My thoughts now that I've been in here, is don't leave it too late, because some people, they contemplate, oh, we might move to a retirement village in a few years' time when we're older. But of course, as you age, it's harder for you to make that decision, and it's more of an upheaval. You build up bridges in your mind that, you know, that they're not really not there. You just got to step into. But yeah, the longer you leave it, I think it's the harder it gets.
I would say to people, you know, think about the end stages of their life. And I mean, you don't think about 2 years, you've got to think about 10 years or so. And don't leave it too late, because then you might be past being able to appreciate a lifestyle like you're buying into here. And that's what you're doing, you're really buying a lifestyle.
So all the family's happy, all the friends are happy, we're happy, so it's good now. We made the right decision.
We did, yeah.
Anyone who's contemplating moving in, I think, don't leave it too long, because there's all those things to do outside and inside the village, yeah.
So that's what some of our real-life residents have to say. And it wasn't difficult to get participants, because our residents generally love talking about village life. So if you have any questions, you can visit one of our villages where our friendly staff can answer questions and also introduce you to some of our existing residents for a chat. Currently, our portfolio includes 8 village sites in Ballarat, Bendigo, Bacchus Marsh, Coolaroo, Bellarine Peninsula and Noosa. Please feel free to give us a call anytime on free call 1800 44 5350. I hope you've enjoyed this brief introduction to Country Club Villages. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to meeting you in one of our villages soon.